Okay, good afternoon. We have a quorum with 5 of 9, but we know that Steve Morgan is our chair, has a new position with KMIT Radio, if you did not know that. So you'll see his email show up. And I have a little glitch in my group, but he got the info, but he is out on a field trip with a technician, some of his new job, part of his new job. And then Jordan and Stratton did not be here. I have not heard from Brett, but we have 5 of 9, so we have a majority, so we can continue. So setting in for Chair Morgan will be Chair Cole.
All right, sorry.
Call the meeting to order at 4:03. Who's taking?
I am.
Stephanie's got minutes.
Stephanie, good job.
I'm trying. We'll see. I might need you to talk slow, but we'll see how it goes. Talk slow.
Okay, we're looking for a...
The most important is Keeler, K-O-E-H-L-E-R.
I already got you in there, and it's right.
Well, last month doesn't show me the attendance, but I made a motion.
So you were here last month?
Yeah.
That's why it says draft. So, Ron, you will get added.
And volunteer help, okay? So
We'll take it. Thank you very much.
Yes, we will.
With that correction, I'll move for approval. Sorry, Susan.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve the minutes by
Are we
Jean.
approving the agenda?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the agenda.
Yes, agenda.
Okay.
We have a first...
Motion by Jean.
Jean, second by Susan.
Yep.
And now we're look over the minutes, looking for approval of the
We have to
minutes.
vote on the agenda first.
We're going to do that.
All
in
members
favor,
voting
say
aye.
aye. Who doesn't want to do it? Say no. Okay, we're good. Is this my last meeting?
Yep.
Well, what if I refuse to be the chair? You're gonna fire me? Okay, we're looking for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Well, my name's spelled wrong in the approval of the agenda.
Oh, okay.
I spelled Jean's right, yours wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. Okay, I will fix that.
Sue, will you spell your last name?
Kiepke.
Okay.
Well, I'm EL.
And where was that at? That it was wrong?
Approval of agenda number 2.
Okay.
And I've got Ron Cole added.
M-Y.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, back to approval of the minutes. We have...
Any other corrections?
Jeff. Ron.
EL as well, but it doesn't make any difference because I'm done. You can do whatever you want. Just,
I'm adding you as EL. Yep, we got Cole. Okay.
Did you have a second?
no, we don't.
I'll second.
Okay, Jeff was first and Jean second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Agenda items.
Okay.
Little discussion.
And again, if you would just turn your microphone on when you've got a comment. That way the folks that are listening or recorded can catch that. Okay, if you would reference the handout that you might have picked up with the blue and white. First, I will do a just kind of generic overview, but these are reports generated by eTix, total receipts from Williams and Reed. You can see that the paid tickets sold, okay, 835, comped 70. So comps would be, for example, Big Friend, Little Friend fundraiser. Okay, would we do a prize? So we did a lot of popcorn ball baskets and tickets to a festival. Either it might have been to a festival show, 2 tickets, or 2 tickets, depending on the value that they were kind of looking at. We did 2 tickets to each show, which was a $200 value. So state amateur baseball, we did one of those. I guess I should have that. It's all recorded. When we do comp tickets, we record in this system who those go to. So for each one of these, you'll see comped. And then the scanned, I'll be very honest with you, I'm a little concerned about that because I know for a fact we had more than 660 tickets scanned. So we don't know if, because the machines were working, and you'll see that kind of all the way through. So I haven't followed up with e-ticks, but bottom line is we
I scanned 4 times, it didn't take,
Yeah.
I'm done.
yeah, and
4 times my limit.
just an FYI on that, we had a few tickets, and of course, it's a good thing that Jerry was there, Jerry Mickelson. She had experience with this. People go out and buy tickets, they create fraudulent tickets and then sell them online. And so when the Johnny Rivers tickets, for example, that's not true. We had some Johnny Rivers tickets come in, people didn't realize the concert had been canceled. And they were local people, which is unfortunate. I mean, it was very well publicized, newspaper articles. We refunded, and we actually refunded everybody on that. And so what happened is she was refunded. I followed up with the person I talked with and dealt with, who was local, and it was actually a seating issue because someone had bought the same seats for Whiskey Blackhawk, and it was actually, no, it was for Williams and Reed, because that's the only chairs we had. And the tickets were for Johnny Rivers. So I just simply moved them 1 row back, and then I followed up the next day with a report showing her reimbursement for those. So she actually was able to, I said, you were able to attend the show for free? and I thought, well, maybe we'll get a check, but we didn't. But that can happen. Anyway, that's.
Does comp also include sponsors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So in fact, I'll take a concert sponsor for Thursday night was L1 Brothers. Okay. So they received 8 tickets to that show, for each show, actually. So, okay, I'll just scroll down. That was our smallest show, but you can see total receipts for the show. That's through the system, charged or cashed. Whiskey Myers was our biggest show, 1,450 sold, 111 comped. So that's where we get that 60 something. Scan 929, which again, that's tickets. Well, we had more than 900 people there. So I honestly don't know why that needs to be a lot cleaner than that. And because when it comes right down to it, you should be able to verify every ticket. And our systems seem to be working, but I'll kind of investigate that for our next ticketed event. You see the total receipts there at the top, and then Blackhawk, 1108 sold, 105 comped, and the other information about best-selling dates, of course, for that one, of course, was the day of the show, which would make sense for walk-ins, for the number of, and then if you look June, second best, that's the day we started selling tickets, is what that means there. So, any questions about tickets or anything there? I'll move right on, otherwise, to show you.
I do have something.
Yep, go ahead.
We're taking tickets. I think it works better if we have the cigarette smoking on the side door going into the back of City Hall. Because when people are going in and out, it's a mess. And I don't think we need 30 people standing in front of the Corn Palace smoking during the festival.
I have other recommendations coming up, and I have a few things myself too, so we will note that there. We can do that. Because I do want to stay close to our time, because I literally have to be at 3 places at 5 o'clock. So we have Farmers Market tonight, and we have the South Dakota Leadership Academy and a concert setting up in the plaza too. So we will, but we want to be thorough as well. A Gold Star Amusement, I'm going to direct your attention to this document, and I will follow this up for you. Okay, so these are actuals from that we verify from the show. Okay, Gold Star Amusement. This is pre-sale vouchers were about $25,000 pre-sale. So that's the wristbands that you can buy for $49. You remember our sponsors were able to buy those for $40 prior to the festival starting. So we had another approximately $20,000. That's not true. I'm sorry. That was wristbands. Then you put in the tickets sold, then we get a percentage of. So on the midway, okay, we get 30% up to the first $100,000 in tickets sold, and then 35% of the next 50,000. Okay? Ridership was way up from last year, very comparable. I'll refer to that email I sent to you earlier as a group. We are right in the middle of that 2014 to 2019 revenue from Gold Star Amusement. So they were very pleased with the ridership and the pre-sale of the vouchers. Comment I heard from a number of folks is, which I have a little control of, is the lines to get your voucher. You came after school and they had ticket booths sitting on a trailer, and whether they didn't have people to take tickets. So that's unfortunate when people are here. We want to ride rides and we have our pass for all you can ride, and you can't get there very, very quick. I didn't hear a lot of them, but I did hear a couple word of mouth type things. So that is an area I've marked down to see where they can improve that. If they need staffing, we can help staff that with volunteers, whatever the case may be. We have concession kids that deal with money all the time. We might be able to help them. I don't know if they would allow it, but we will work on that. Anyway, that's that number there. Our sponsors, this is not counting in kind. So that's checks deposited. So that's very good. We are very happy with that. Thanks to those that secured them. I will mention, and we want to put this in the minutes, that Spencer Quarries Commercial Asphalt is a longtime sponsor. They have verbally agreed to sponsor a show next year at this level, and they would like the first choice of the concert. And I told him, absolutely, you deserve that. You had this little, I don't know about controversy, I just took the first response I got. And so they said, okay, here's what's available. Which one do you want? They absolutely deserve that with a long time of sponsorship. So I told him that would be the case. So as soon as we get our shows lined up and we're working on sponsors, they've already agreed to 2022. So that's been super. Our vendor booths were exactly the same number as last year. It's been pretty standard with about 20 vendors. Our food vendors.
Does that include food vendors?
Yes, food vendors and what I call soft goods. Basically, it's about 8,000 for the food vendors and about 2,000 for the soft goods vendors. Ticketed shows, so those numbers that you saw on your sheet, here's those numbers right there that you saw. Those are not counting comp tickets. Those are the actual numbers you saw in your handout. And those actually met my expectations. You can always sell more tickets to shows. It's kind of a correlation between, okay, you spend more advertising and what kind of return do you get from that advertising. You know, we were fortunate, we had a group from Mount Vernon, almost 30 people showed up and walked into the show, which was awesome. You know, so you get those things once in a while. But, you know, I was really looking at 900 for Williams and Ree, 1,500 for Whiskey Myers, and 1,200 for Blackhawk, and we were really right there. But you can always sell more tickets, and that's always the goal, to sell more. Okay. Venue fee, ticket fees are from the e-tix system. They're calculated out that we collect. So that's your $2 a ticket for the Corn Palace and your credit card fees, which we pass those on to the buyer. Okay. Merchandise sales, I've not highlighted that. That is not accurate. Our Whiskey Myers and Blackhawk both were good sales. Williams and Ree was very little, and the Powell brothers were quite little. We have that number, but I'll be very honest with you. When we did the deposit, it's in the total, but we have to break that out. I think I have to go back to Romeo, and he has that record. So they were very pleased, but this is closer to $1,800. Okay. But that's why I honestly couldn't verify it. And there are a few things, by the way, that are still out there. We're waiting for bills, for example, from Mitchell Tech for the load-in labor. But all of the big ones that you'll see here in a moment. And of course, another big item is our alcohol sales total, and that is actually from Wednesday through Sunday. So that includes the bars that we had for the outdoor show, Texas Jammers on Wednesday with the farmers market, all the way through Sunday with our Barefoot Becky and the Texas Jammers, and we didn't have a bar open for Cowboy Church. So this is not an exact number, but it's quite close, okay, as far as revenue. Here is our expenses. So when I talk about inside entertainment, I will just jump to that again, just so you can kind of see this. Make it just a little bit bigger for you. Okay, whoops. Okay, so if you go down here, for example, light and sound was spread out to all 4 nights for hotels. Okay, our opener, something new, Furious, Williams and Ree. Our free stage entertainment, hospitality. The light and sound cost was split over all 3 shows. I did inquire about not having them set up until Friday for Whiskey Myers. We didn't really need that kind of light and sound for Williams and Ree, but we did have a contract with them. They chose to stay firm with their contract. And they were here, set up, ready to go, and it was nice having them here, but quite honestly, this could have been reduced. But if I would have come this day, they were going to charge the same amount of money. So, the Romeo fees, that's that 10% of entertainers, so that's split up between the 3 acts. And then, again, this is an estimate for load-in. We're not exactly sure if it's going to be that or not. Friday, Weston Frank, Whiskey Myers. We had, remember, the Molly Dowling before the show and Rusty Ryerson afterwards. I thought that was a really good value, but honestly, for both of those, they drew nice crowds before and after in the plaza. Hospitality and light and sound, and hotels, light and sound. And then Saturday, Howell Brothers, Blackhawk. Our free stage entertainment for Saturday and Sunday included the Pied Piper's percussion. You know, I will say that is a miss. And it was very good, very entertaining. He was in the wrong spot. He needed to be by the kids, and so you'll see down the agenda I have a little bit of a kid zone. I would like to use him again, but he has to be in a different spot. We didn't get the value out of that he cost. He's very successful at the fair, but they have him in a different location. He needed to be in his own space on 7th Street, quite honestly, and he would have been a big hit. And then Sunday, again, a pretty reasonable day, the Cowboy Church, which it was very good, by the way. We had 300 people there for that. Very, very entertaining Sunday morning. Another 100 came in because we had good ticket sales for the polka. That was a $10 wristband, so a number of those people came and stayed the whole day, went out and had some lunch and came back. And then, again, that spread out with this, the Pied Piper. And then he followed up his stage show with basically a petting zoo, if you will, of instruments. And again, very good, just not enough kids, not in the area of enough kids. So that's kind of the breakdown there. Let me jump back to some of our other expenses. Refunds, our ticketing fees that we pay. Again, this is very close to what our load-in crew will be. This is the payout to our parents that helped serve out in the lobby. Light and sound, Romeo entertainment fees, which you saw. Total hotels, that's total hotels and transportation. That's actually quite reasonable from what we normally would spend. A lot of these acts just make their own accommodations, because they don't want to have to depend on anyone to do that. Make sure that they're firm. And then our cost of our alcohol and sales tax. Our free stage entertainment down here. Advertising, which Jen's going to talk about. This was our budget, and those are some things we're pretty close, but we have a few bills that aren't in yet. Portable toilets. The Dakota Wesleyan women's basketball team comes in every morning, did the cleanup Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we think that's a good value. We staffed it afternoon and evening, and they did the big, large amounts in the morning, and some various supplies. Total expenses, I would say this is plus or minus 5%. The vendors, followed up with an email to all the vendors. Comments were very positive about sales. They liked being spread out. There was a few that would prefer to be in a different location. For example, well, and you may not know those vendors, but the one that had, was right across from the mini donuts, it's just too much competition. He wants to be in a different spot. And it really came down, it's a very easy fix. Everyone does it, but if you sell something like mini donuts, you don't want to be by mini donuts. You want to be further away. So I have an easy fix for him. They liked being spread out the most part. I don't know about the participants. You know, if you remember, we had kind of 3 groups of sitting. You could go north, kind of where Mitchell Christian was. Then we had a middle group right on 6th Avenue, and then we had a group to the south. And Big Daddy's, for example, was there. Pester's Mini Donuts were there. So, again, very favorable. Just a few have requested to a different location, but obviously want to come back to the fair. They just didn't want to be across from a certain person. And keep in mind that a lot has to do with the trailer they have, from where they serve from, the kind of power that they have, how we can get them in and out effectively. It's kind of why we do that. So it's not just just show up and park. We have a plan based on 30 amp, 50 amp services, whether they need water, and then the direction they serve their window out of, which means where the hitch is next to the next vendor. By spreading them out, that alleviated some of that issue. The other thing I really liked, and Jen can comment, we kept our front doors of our neighbors open. So we had in front of the scoreboard in the newspaper, but the front door of the scoreboard was open. Okay, we kept the back 40 open. We kept the Plaza Mall, or excuse me, the Chamber Mall open. People were in there, so those shops could benefit from that traffic, as could the Chamber gift store. So I thought it was good. I'll finish up and then we can get some feedback. In fact, maybe I'll just stop there. And that's kind of the festival stuff, because I want to move on to exhibits and Kids Zone and others. Any feedback concerning concerts, amusement vendors? We noted, and I would agree, most shows, no one ever gets to leave. You just don't leave a concert anymore because of security reasons. And if there was a public fight after one of the concerts, that didn't happen in the street because of alcohol. It happened, and during the concert, when 2 people met and started an argument inside, and they went outside a number of times. And then it culminated with them going out after the concert and having a fight. So by not allowing them outside, that might not have escalated to that point. But the other issue is, if someone were to bring something in, we have to check their tickets. We'd just shut that down, and we can easily do a smoking area. If we want to do party pit, we can have a separate one so those folks can go somewhere else. And I've already explained the party pit, snafu, if you will, from Friday night, where we didn't confiscate the ticket. We learned, and Saturday night, much smoother, no issues by doing that. So a simple fix. Again, this lack of experience doing that won't happen again. So.
About the concessions, what happened there? There wasn't any.
When we had concessions, we just didn't have hot food.
Because then we were told nobody could go out, and then people were coming in the concession.
Sure.
People said,
Yep.
go get food and bring it.
Well, no, we allowed people out. That was the intent, for them to go out, buy.
We weren't told that in the ticket.
Then that would be on me if you weren't clear.
So
yeah.
we were saying you can't go out, they said, well, the concession said we can go out and get food and bring it in.
And I apologize. That would be in a briefing with the volunteers. Yes, absolutely. The reason we did that is to support the vendors out front. I'll be very honest with you. The other thing was on Friday night, our staffing, because of the home football game, we didn't have enough concession staff. So, but it's a conscious decision before festival to not have hot food. Popcorn pop, snacks, things are quick up front, no prepared foods that would take a lot of time, because we did want people to go out and buy from our vendors. That was decided much ahead of time. So that was unfortunate if you didn't know that they could do that, because.
We're not going to let them in now.
Correct. The issue is the smoking, right, and the security and safety of going out and coming back in.
But they can still bring food in with them, we just don't want them to go in and out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. We want to encourage the vendor sales. I mean, that's, I don't want to take away from our vendor sales. We want them to do well on that night, the concert night. So people come, and they're in the intermission, quite honestly, but it was just too difficult to monitor people coming and going when they could leave. And honestly, you just don't do that at other shows. So, but easy fix. We just don't allow it, no re-entry, and we serve our hot food at the concessions. So moving forward, that's how that would be.
I think if you do choose to have a smoking area, you have it fenced off, so they can't
Sure.
fenced-off area.
Right.
They can't be.
And that's very easy. That's what we did for the party pit, for example. The issue was that the smoking area for the party pit, as a convenience, right, to have a restroom, bar, and smoking area right there. That's why you pay the extra money for the ticket. So,
Well, you could always just have the bathrooms access to the party pit, and then have all the smoking area in one, because
Yep.
those doors are right by the pit.
it's a very easy fix, absolutely. It's one of those things you probably don't change because you have to reconfigure where the restrooms are and where the fencing is and that kind of thing. But no doubt, that's noted and that's on my list already, Ron. So, anything else on those three? Concerts or vendors, amusement? Okay, I'm going to jump right into the exhibits. The exhibits, very much appreciate you coming and judging. There were some, in fact, we even have one left here, hasn't been picked up. So we've made a decision to, for next year, I love that stuff. That's a big part of the fair. Most fairs are part of 4-H, like the Sioux Empire Fair, the State Fair, the Central States Fair. We don't have our 4-H fair and Cornball Festival at the same time. But these are fair-like type of things, 4-H projects. They deserve much more attention, much more exposure. With indoor concerts, there's no way we could take these exhibits and put them out in the lobby and expect them to survive or be there. But we have the advantage of having a very nice armory upstairs where we can use a perimeter. They're under security and they're supervised because we have bingo up there, and it will actually enhance that. They could bring a family in, see the exhibits, they would be up the whole festival on display. Much easier to control, and it's an easy fix for us. Because I want that to grow, and I've actually had an offer from someone to actually run that part of the festival next year. And that's really what it takes, from promotion, advertising.
Even though I'm going off a committee, feel free to call me,
I-
and I would help.
Careful what you ask for.
So if there's an area that I felt was slighted the most, and I'll be very honest, it probably had to do with more of the staffing from box office and all those things. Just you try to do as much as possible, and that just was not done very well. And so we got an easy fix for that too. So the armory is very nice. It's well lit. It's spacious, and quite honestly, bingo people appreciate it. I've already talked with them that's what we're going to do. He goes, super. More bodies we get, and they might want to stay and play bingo. So easy fix for us, and then they can bring their families up, and then we won't have a checkout of anything until Sunday. Always got to stay. So, and that'll bring more people down to get their things on Sunday. So, anything about the exhibits?
You gonna judge up there too then?
Yeah, we could judge up there. It'd be more. That way, we could have it all spread out ahead of time by category.
You just have to switch, because I think they were playing bingo when we actually did the judging.
Oh yeah, we can
You gotta just have to-
we can fix that. Yeah, we can switch our times to bring it in, something like that. Yeah, we can even have it in by Tuesday, perhaps, before they start. Easy fix. Anything else on the exhibits? Okay, Kids Zone, this is an area, again, I want to improve in. Depending on where the festival is located, we really kept the kids to the north, the adults to the south, where the food was, and that's kind of intentional. Some of our vendors would rather be by the kids, but we've heard more young kid things. The intent was to have a corn bin or a corn crib where they could just jump in a big old tub and play in the corn, like a sandbox, if you will, look for treasures. We get all kinds of fun. I saw the Kiwanis group had a corn maze, which looked awesome. I don't know where they got it, but I'm going to find out. And that's something we could staff. You know, if we don't compete with Gold Star, we could absolutely do a corn maze. It was an inflatable. I don't know if you saw that. It was really pretty slick. And, we did the coloring contest, slight. It wasn't a large amount of participation. But I would be open to suggestions for the Kids Zone. If you've gone to fairs, Jean?
One of the comments on the coloring contest, because I was here when they brought in this stuff, one of them just wasn't age appropriate. I can't remember which one. So she had her kids do a different one. She just said, that's too easy for kids this age.
So her kids were,
She's a teacher.
sure,
So just look at that.
age-appropriate pictures.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, I took them from the Crayola recommended websites.
Well, wasn't the one 56 or 66 years old that submitted one?
Yeah, and well,
It was an adult provision too.
Yep.
I think it was the ages of the youngest one
Yeah.
was just too broad.
It was a paint by a number type thing almost,
What
or
was
color
the
by
age
number.
group, like 3 to 8 or something like that?
Yep, yep.
And that's, the 3-year-olds are way different than the 8-year-olds. So you gotta either break them up or do a different
Okay.
picture.
That's an easy fix. Anything else on, and again, as we move forward, you know, that's just an area I want to do some work on. So if you see something that would be good for a festival as you travel around, whether it be at a, you know, something in the wintertime or otherwise, you know, something we could retro. And over the years, there's been a number of kids' activities. It's just, that's an area I need to get stronger in. No doubt about it.
My only concern with the kids' activities is I don't want to overdo the free activity zone and take away from games and vendors. Most other fairs and festivals you have to pay to get into, $5, $10, whatever they are. So I could see that having more of a free activity space area, but ours is free for everybody. We just hope that they also buy the wristbands
Sure.
and the rides and things like that.
The intent was if parents were here having lunch and they had young people with, or not lunch, just eating, that the kids could have something to do. It actually worked out nice when the Pied Piper was on the stage. That worked out perfectly. Kids were up by the stage, the parents were having a beverage and a meal back in the back under the tent, and that was how it was intended. We were fortunate to have that scoreboard parking lot to use. We could do way more with that space. And of course, we can use, if we needed to, we could use the plaza parking lot and that whole side of the plaza. So there's just an awful lot. But keep in mind, by doing that, the kids are up north. You have to bring them from there down to here. So some work needs to be done to make that a little more effective. But I hear what you're saying. We want them to be on the rides. That's where the revenue comes from. And I did not hear a concern with the selection of rides. So if you've heard that, let me know. Gold Star brought what they said they were going to bring. We had some concern about getting them here, and they actually went back by Tuesday and had them set up for opening on Wednesday. Nothing came in late.
Doug, I was gonna ask, how many did they bring in comparison to their contract?
They have a range, 15 to 18.
And how many?
They brought in 17 rides.
Wow, that's probably better
Yep.
than we had.
And I did request an inventory of what everything that was here was considered an attraction, food, or a ride. Just when we did our settlement, I said, I just need to learn this business a little bit better about the rides. And so I actually haven't gotten that yet, but Melissa assured me she could get it to me. So they knew what was here and have an inventory. So I expect to have that. And then we can kind of compare year to year what they brought. So, okay, anything else on 2021?
Can I share this?
Yes.
All right, here is just a quick little recap of what we did marketing-wise. And Doug, I'll just one off with you when we're done. About it. Just a recap of some of the things we worked on, from print marketing to contesting, electronic billboards, digital advertising, social media, flipping it over to the back to radio advertising, which was one of our biggest avenues, and then some community calendar pieces, and then some added value as well. So as you've all seen for several different months, there are a few different print marketing options that went out. That included the 15,000 household direct mailer that was out. We created a free entertainment flyer that was posted and used on social media as well. Doug made some sponsor banners. We did some contesting that included 3 different winners. They received a VIP package of 10 tickets, a $100 gift card to 3 different restaurants, Ruby Tuesday, Back 40 in the Depot, and a stay in town. And that reached over 14,000 people just in our area. I included on that technically second page, the little chart at the bottom is very hard to read, but the blue lines are women and the green lines are men. So women engage and interact a lot more than men do on those posts. But 45 to 65-year-olds were the main target market, even though we were advertising to 22-year-olds on up within 50 miles of Mitchell. So that was just a Facebook promotion. Electronic boards ran 2 of our 3 boards available here in Mitchell. We did some digital advertising specifically to encourage folks to buy those passports to fund before the price increase later in the month. And then I included some social media pieces as well. The graph on page 3 shows the darker orangish yellow color is what happens when you actually boost an actual post. So organic means the light colored yellow is just an average everyday post that people could share, like, comment on, etc. But then when we do spend a little bit of money, anywhere between $60 and $200, you can definitely see that post reach increases quite significantly. On the 25th-ish, we had over 14,000 people interact with one of our posts. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but it was one of them. And then just some photos there. We also created a free parking piece. That was one of the hang-ups, was there's nowhere to park if you fill up the parking lots with rides. And so we highlighted some of the free parking city-owned lots. I know a lot of people, for instance, park in Slumberland, but that one was not included because it's not a free parking. It is, but, you know. On the back. The radio advertising, those are the 3 stations we partnered with, 2 locally and 1 in Sioux Falls. We had some advertising and on sale the end of May, beginning of June when tickets went on sale. Doug went in and did some interviews. We had a live remote on Wednesday. They also did several different contests for us on their own with some comp tickets, which was all very well received. I highlighted the community calendar. Now, this is not the Corn Palace's site. I'm sure Doug can pull those numbers for us, but on mitchellsd.com/events, if you went to the Corn Palace site, there was over 3,400 visits to that actual Corn Palace event, which was the 4th highest in 2022. Dakota Fest, number 1, 4th of July, number 2, somebody's class reunion, number 3, and then Corn Palace Festival. So, other than that, the other picture on the back page is the ad we did in the 605 magazine, which is a co-op with that magazine statewide, utilizing community marketing funding. In August was highlighted the festival. Questions? I know that was really quick, but that's why I wanted to
I was
have a
pleased
handout.
with what Jen and her team did. You know, as we contracted with them with a fee to do that advertising for festival. We would throw in their KSFY, just picked it up and came over and did a live remote, which was cool.
Yeah,
literally
that
Wednesday
added
night,
value.
it was the live 5 o'clock news, and the Ferris wheel literally started spinning just behind us as the reel went. So, you know, I went in and watched myself. So how bad was this? But it was kind of fun to see in the background that the rides were just starting up right at 5 o'clock when they were supposed to start on Wednesday. So
Yeah, it just worked.
yeah. Yes, that was just good. So thank you, Jen, for your efforts. And again, some of that, those advertising bills and things are still coming in, but for the most part, Jen stayed within the budget of what we had set. So I have no concerns about that, and certainly would look at that next year. You know, at some point, maybe if I get the expertise, you know, with some experience and, you know, box office support and that kind of thing, we can do those things, which I know in the past that was the case. So. So we'll see. And Jen's still there as a very valuable resource to support. Okay? All right, I'd like to move on to 2022. Probably not a lot of discussion other than I have requested from Romeo, in fact, a couple times in the last month, you know, what's available. We want to get out in front of this. The intent always is to announce, you know, something at the festival if we have something for the next year. And which is not always easy to do, obviously, but last year it was a done deal. They all wanted to renew, except then Johnny Rivers retired. So, heard from you loud and clear, we need to move up a generation in rock and roll, 70s, 80s rock. So that was a priority. If you remember, to replace our show, we went back to them, and you kind of know what was available. That was in 6 weeks' notice. It'll be a much longer list at this point, which the plan will be for October is for you to say, hey, here's what's available. Let's see if we can go get them. Okay. A country, you know, I thought Whiskey Myers was a very entertaining show. There's no reason we wouldn't want to go back to somebody like that. That's a young show that, you know, up and coming. There's a lot of them out there. Some of these openers that you've seen at the Brown County Fair or Sioux Empire Fair, or what the Denny's had here even the other night. You know, I heard really good things about State Fair and who did Weston?
Brown County Fair.
Yeah, well, the State Fair though, Weston Frank opened for John Party. Yes, heard really good things, but yeah, just a great show. And yeah,
One thing, I really want to, we talk about it a couple of times, then we don't do it when we get right to it. This year, we didn't have much of a chance. I do think we need to look at bundling tickets and packages this year, seriously.
and that's a very popular concept with e-tics because they actually ask about that. So they expect that kind of thing. That's very easy for us to do within our system. It's just a matter of how you bundle and what the options are and what you have available.
We'll just have to see what kind of entertainment we get and what makes sense.
I had thrown out Morgan Wallen, who had run in some issues back in Nashville, but he's making a comeback. He's getting some play time. He's doing some charity work. Art Festival would be very receptive to him. But somebody like that who's just got some, well, and that's new.
He made a little bit.
Yeah, it's good young country. Whiskey Myers was obviously a big hit. That goes back 2 years ago. We heard, they played Sioux Falls, they played Deadwood. We had people from out of state here to come and hear them. So, again, without having what's available, but I have requested it. I literally on Monday, I requested that list again. We really want to get on top of this, and I called her this morning, Romeo. We are contracted for festival entertainment with Romeo for the next 3 years. Well, this year and then 2 more. So we're a little bit hands tied as far as bringing in our own thing for our festival shows with them. So I expect them to return my call and give us some options.
So if Romeo doesn't have them, you can't get them, is that right?
That's correct. They'd have to release us from their contract for that show. I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but the intent is that they provide the entertainment for all festival
The
shows.
main thing is that Romeo is the booking agent, so they can sometimes, it's not necessarily just people they represent, but Romeo has to represent us in requesting an entertainer at that.
So you just have to use them.
Yeah.
Right, so we could put a request out. I could say, hey, we would like this artist. Can you see if they're available? They go do the work
Okay.
to get them, yep. But either way, we couldn't bring in a festival show without their involvement.
They just have to be the booking agent.
Other thoughts, ideas on entertainment. I do want to move on to some other things on the line, but we need to make sure that this is our bread and butter. It was a good get this year, would have been last year too.
I guess can I say
Yeah,
something?
absolutely.
So just keep in mind when you're looking at entertainment for next year, I would not put Morgan Wallen and Whiskey Myers in the same category. Whiskey Myers is more like a southern rock kind of country, that red dirt, I don't know, it's just different. Morgan Wallen would be more of a new country artist that younger like too. But if you look back, that was one of the ones that Romeo had recommended to you when it was first brought up, Whiskey Myers, because of our area and demographics. They said it would sell well, and it did. So I just don't, make sure you're looking at different classes of country and not just that it was country or it was this or that.
So Romeo gets a full report of our ticketing, and they put that into their system, and that's how they make recommendations for our area. So they're the professionals. I trust their judgment. They've done well. I have no reason to doubt that. I just want to get that information to you so we can make a decision. So I will keep on them and have something for you in October, because we would love to lock those in and be setting the route instead of picking up someone on a route.
If you could send that out, Doug, prior to the
Sure.
meeting, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Because if you have some time to study it.
Okay. The next item, which is fairly significant, is a location of festival. There was anything set in stone. Just from my experience, that you really need to try things 3 times, making some changes each time before you say, okay, let's go away from that. I will tell you that I've got feedback regarding the location of the festival from the Gold Star Amusement. They much prefer it in its current location due to the space that they can spread out across streets and in parking lots. They are able to group their kids' rides in one area, their larger, rides, their gaming down Main Street. They much prefer the location. 2020 was not a good measuring stick. The first time they did it was 2019. They moved some things, but we had a lower number of rides because of COVID and their staffing and all that went with that. This year we were back to a more normal. I thought, and our numbers indicate it was successful. The other group that supports it in its current location is our public safety department. Because of monitoring of the people, it's not spread out over 7 blocks. It's more, the rides are literally between 7th and 9th Street, where all the kids are at. It's much easier. A child walks away from someone, they can respond quicker. That comment was made. If we have some teen issues, some gangs, if you will, or groups of kids causing some issues, they can get to them very quickly and watch them much closer in a 2-block area versus a 7-block area. So that's the input I've had. I do plan to get input from the Mitchell Main Street group via our Mitchell Main Street and Beyond director. I've talked with her about that, about getting feedback from Main Street. I know that's a concern either direction, for we would like this and we'd like that traffic in front of our store, to we prefer not to have to deal with it. We do interrupt much fewer day-to-day business operations in our current location than when we go down to Main Street. And we really would not need 7 blocks. We could, depending on the available parking lots, we could go even to 2nd Street and probably fit it, depending. But that's the input I have from 2 groups. I'll get input from a 3rd, and I'll share that with you. And then I'd like to make a decision on that, quite honestly, in October. So that'll be an agenda item, if that would be okay.
Have you had much public input?
Not is it anecdotal types of things you'll see on social media. I'd prefer to have it be a little more organized feedback via our Main Street program, which.
And obviously our meetings are open. Anybody has an opportunity at any point in time to come in and voice their opinions. But let's just be honest. The people that are south that want it are bars, and the people that don't are generally the
retail.
So, I mean, some pull, some might cross, but in reality, that's exactly what it is. And we're going to have some borrowers that are not very happy with this, keeping it where it's at.
But I will.
They'll have the option to come in and discuss it both to the committee and to the council.
And our meeting date is set, so I'll make that part of the input, that if they wish to give feedback directly to the board, that here's our meeting date and when they can come in. So we'll plan that for October. So.
I did hear from some just public members that it's a little cramped.
So as you remember, the city council mayor had asked me to make sure we utilize 5th Street. So if you had a chance to go down there into that back 40 area, I thought she was happy with that arrangement this year, which was good. We blocked all of 5th Street, but it was utilized with either seating, standing, or vendors on that 500 block. So part of that spread out was intentional, and then as far as the food goes, the Midway, that's kind of Gold Star's thing. The guy that ran the show this year was surprised that we had vendors on the 7th and Main location. That's where he wanted to put his generators. They didn't communicate because we were the same last year, but a different person was here running it, a different son. Some of you would know the Featherstone family, the father, son. The son is actually on his own. He's not part of that anymore. So Mike Jr. is on his own. This is the son-in-law that was here running this year. But they were a real pleasure. He was always concerned about if there's police available to walk the area. He was concerned if there was restrooms needing cleaning. It was very good communication. I was very, very happy with that. It was much better than them arriving. And we have a plan for a conference call a month early to make sure we have everything in place. So when they arrive, we had a few hiccups. They show up at 10 o'clock at night and not knowing that, they needed that. So, again, easy fix. It's just part of the planning process, which we've already scheduled for next year. I'd like to jump ahead to E, for upcoming events, and then come back to board members and end with that. I don't have any, I think I've discussed or covered enough of the festival without using any executive session item, no contracts to discuss at this point. So upcoming events that you should be aware of, we don't necessarily need support for those, but the Kids Pedal Poll is the 25th, a week from Saturday. We expect 1,500 people from 9 states, 400 pullers. We had the state pedal poll on Labor Day. just over 300 pullers and 1,200 people. It was a good ticket day. It was a good concessions day. It was very, very well run and organized. It was a good day. I will note that the 25th is also blue and white parade. Starts at 10 o'clock, the same time as our event, but we've got a plan to make sure that's not an issue at all. And then that afternoon on the 25th is the car show on Main Street. So it's a busy day in Mitchell on the 25th. The Pheasant Bank was the 15th of October. They'll set up on Thursday, the 14th. Again, that's a wonderful group to have here. Supports pheasant habitat, and we're happy to be part of that. We make a substantial donation as well as part of alcohol sales go back to that group because we appreciate them bringing the event to the Corn Palace. And then the next day is a new event, amateur boxing, actually. There's going to be six boxing matches starting at 7 o'clock. So that's the 16th, October 16th. It's on the back side of your agenda if you didn't flip that over. And yeah, we just got the promotional posters. Came up pretty quickly. So ETEX is scrambling a bit. I gave them a graphic to build the ring and the seating, and that's all new. Normally we would have maybe 6 months, 3 months to build something and not 5 days. So, but we'll see. The fact that it's the day of the pheasant opener, very easily we could get 750 to 1,000 people in here to watch some boxing. It's something very unique to the area. The 20. So Derek Allen is his name. He's local, but the other fighters that he's bringing in are not. But so it's more about, hey, do we want to see amateur boxing? And it's a $10 ticket for general admission, very reasonable. It'll be $12.50 with the fees. $25 floor ringside or $50 VIP seating. So it's structured out pretty well. A family could easily come for a $10 ticket and bring a couple kids and watch some boxing.
Are you having a bar?
There will be bar, and there'll be security, like we always have for bars. Dakota Wesleyan basketball opens on the 27th. It's a Wednesday. It's a men's game only. Followed on Saturday on the 30th, and it was fun to have the Tigers back in the Palace today for practice.
Yeah, are they the 30th or the 27th? You're the 30th.
Oh, the men are the 20th? Oh, yes, this is handwritten, sorry. The men and women are the 30th. That's a doubleheader. The 27th is a Wednesday. That's men only. Yep. So those are our first games, basketball games in. And then you'll see there that we are firm with Hairball. Officially make that announcement. Hairball will be here November 13th. It's a Saturday. It's going to be a $30 ticket plus fees, all general admission, standing, sitting, crawling, wherever you want to be, $30. And we expect that to be a good show. And then the following Monday, we will refinish the basketball floor as scheduled for the rest of the basketball season. So, and of course, then we move into basketball and all the things that we squeeze in. There's a dance program here. Last thing is our board members. And, oh, yes.
Before that, I'm going to get going here, but I had someone reached out to me from the community just saying that they really enjoy concerts, not only during the Corn Palace Festival, but throughout the year. Was wondering about Hairball, so I'll report back to him on that. But then also throughout, in between the festival, that if there is periodic concerts, that's something that he would enjoy.
And concerts are very good for us. I mean, there's tribute shows that come in are very good and very reasonable for the public at $15 to $25 ticket, and very good entertainment for 2.5 hours. So
just keep it in mind. If something comes up, then you can run it past it.
Very good. Yeah, we can squeeze them in.
Springtime.
Yep.
Start loosening up.
Yep. And we've had that concert in that April timeframe, but I will absolutely, the goal is to bring as many events here as possible that work. Thank you. Staffing for Corn Palace, first of all, is the ad for our box office concession position will be posted later today or tomorrow. It will be a
It's not.
We're good.
is that an issue? Oh.
No.
The position is box office concession supervisor will be the title.
Doug, where is this on the agenda?
It's,
Put it in the right-
I'm talking about, it's dealing with our staffing board
Board
terms.
meetings,
Yep,
member terms,
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that Nick's job?
Correct. Yes, that's the the full-time person in the box office managing concessions. And I will certainly say we've covered very well the last 6 weeks. You know, we're paddling a little bit, stay above water, but I think.
Doug did a wonderful job, and I asked him not to post that and have a discussion with me after Corn Palace Week, because we were concerned throwing somebody into the fire immediately. And we have revamped that a little bit, I believe. So there will be slight changes to it to kind of make it more what it really is, and we're hoping to get some very good candidates.
I think you'll be pleased with the job description, the expectations, and we think we're going to get some very good applicants, even in this market where there are so many jobs available. It's a pleasant place to work. It's, you know, people come here because they want to have fun and enjoy. And honestly, how often do you get those jobs where people want to come in and give you money to have fun? So that's pretty exciting. Moving on to board members' terms. Sadly, we have 3 board members who have termed out from the Corn Palace Board. Those are Ron Kogel, Brad Zimmerman, and Sue Kipke. So I certainly want to publicly thank all of them for the service to the Corn Palace Board. I've only had the opportunity to work for you or with you a couple of years and for you, but much appreciate the input. I will certainly hope that you'll continue, maybe as a volunteer come festival at the very least, that, hey, I enjoyed doing that and I'd like to continue to do that. You would be welcomed. So I've got a little parting something for you here. I will get for you. But thank you very much for your service to the city and the community at large, because festival's a big part of it. Obviously, the murals are a big part of it. It's been a record year of attendance, and no small part to your ideas and follow through as the board. So very much thank you for your service.
Have replacements been appointed?
2 of them will be appointed Monday night.
Yep.
And one, I'm still working on one.
Well,
And
Gene's
you're getting
getting
reappointed,
reappointed.
so.
Oh,
They,
You want to be on there?
no, I do.
they will be on the agenda for Monday's council meetings. Rather than mention that here, I should probably wait. But yes, there's a couple that are chosen and they're looking at a third. So we'll have a full board.
Okay, thanks.
I did bring that up. I'll bring it up now publicly. There are no Main Street business owners represented on this board, which I would like to personally see. I represent the Chamber and CVB, and with the new ones, to my knowledge, they're not Main Street owners. So with the change of festival and all the new events coming to the plaza, anything that happens here, I would like to at least have.
We can try, but it has not been very receptive to the people I've talked to on Main Street as far as getting on this board. So you have names.
I do. I have 3.
Willing to talk to them,
Yeah.
or have them come and talk to me.
Okay.
Well, and I guess this is my opinion only, is that if we don't have a third right now, can we function with being down 1 if we're waiting to hear back? Because it is a commitment, as you know, to come to meetings and all of that. So if we're, you know, if Monday doesn't have to be a deadline, we know we've got 2 coming on, and if we have some ideas, certainly are much appreciated. So. That's all I have. Any questions from you folks before we go to some public input?
No public input, no executive session. We're done. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Sue and Jen.
And we're out of here. Been a pleasure working with you people.
Thank you, guys.
It's Monday night football.
Oh, yeah. How much is it? Thank you.
Okay. That's fine. I thought before getting published, then you need to sign off. Better get it first.
You're just taking mine.
That's fine. I figured it was that minus
the budget was,
Okay, good.
but we know we were.
And phone number.
We were close.
We'll be on. You won't be on.
Oh, then we're both.
I don't know how to read this. Okay. Reach out to them and say.
I sort of like those things.
I know it's.
You know, when I worked at UPS, it was always
I was thinking, actually, I was thinking,
some fundraiser night. Stacks of this, I was like, just send me, I'm weird, I'm not, I don't need to hear it.
And I know, like, my.
Well, get the party.
Yeah, I
Keep my wife under.
And I